Good evening, everybody. Hey, it's Saturday evening. We are here for the Erudition Network wrap-up that we do on Saturdays, if requested. We haven't really done one in the last, I say, 2 weeks because we hadn't got anybody requesting that we should do one. And I said if I get anything within our chat or within our notifications, I would definitely try to come on and do a wrap-up session on Saturday. And what is the purpose of the wrap-up? The wrap-ups are done to give the opportunity for those of you who work Monday through Friday or work during the times of the sessions and you can't get on live, but you'd like to inject some of your own thoughts, opinions, opines into some of the things that we covered during the week. This has been I don't know, it's been a crazy week. As I said on Thursday, I didn't feel very well. I've been having a lot of issues, but I feel better today, and I thank God for that. But it's just been one of those weird times. You know, we have here, I'm out here in Colorado. In Colorado, we've had a lot of rain, which I am not complaining about. However, it is as unusual. And it just goes along with a lot of the unusual things that are happening in the weather throughout the world. I wouldn't just say just the nation. So we're definitely having strange occurrences as it pertains to weather. But it's just been a very, very crazy time. If you have looked at the programs over the last week, you know, we have Tina's on Monday, the boys are on Wednesday, and I am on Thursday. And did we do this wrap up requested so that we can kind of touch in with those people who support us, follow us, join us during the week. So I don't see, let me put this right here to remind people. You know, sometimes the notifications, even though I tested it, I said I was going to test the notifications. It's weird. We don't often see the notifications either. So I'm going to send some correspondence to Facebook and let them know, hey, look, you know, people are subscribing or following these programs and not being notified. And if that is a problem with their the way they do it, or if there's been a change, we need to know whatever that is, or a way ahead or a fix. So I'm definitely going to do that this week, because I have noticed what a lot of people have told us, that we sometimes do not see the notifications. And so I definitely want to make sure we address that and get that fixed for you all, so that you don't miss any of the programs, or, you know, miss the time because, you know, they're not doing what they're supposed to do on their end. So we will get that fixed. But I'm just sending out another reminder because, you know, that happens. People don't get those things. So sometimes we have to do for the system what it won't do for itself, right? So send out those notifications to folks and get them to join and to comment and to know that we're actually on live. All right, look, I'm going to tell you, for me on Thursday, I left it as a very interactive session. a lot of I opened the door for a lot of questions because um, I had been feeling well. Uh, I just wanted to make sure that something was being presented for us on the interactive where we could actually get into a discussion as opposed to me half doing a lesson that does not that wouldn't have served anybody. So I definitely open the floor up to questions. And I will tell you, I enjoy those types of sessions. Um, Arguably, some people would say, it would be better that, they like to see the drawn out lesson and teaching. And I don't mind doing those. But I do like question and answer sessions because I think that they serve us better um, because they allow different people to chime in and ask and say things that um, I think are on the general public's mind or within certain peer groups that some people won't ask because maybe they're afraid to ask. But when people come on and they do that, I think it's a really good thing. And I think we get a lot from those sessions, and it stirs up a lot of people to ask questions. Um, Tina's show this past week was about reasons to keep social media liberal and out there, and some of the benefits as well as some of the negatives of how we use social media and how it can help us. Um, I thought it was a good program because there's so much um, emphasis put out here on all of the negatives of social media and keeping everybody in an orthodox brick and mortar uh, casual way or regulated way, modus operandi way of which how we've done things. And sometimes we need to think outside of that and see how we can use media, social media, to inform, to grow. um, Things like TikTok, things like Facebook, YouTube, and others, Instagram and others, that allow people to get on and share knowledge, facts. Now, there are a lot of people out here who don't do that. They share lunacy and foolery, and I do get it. But the more of us who become more comfortable with getting out here and sharing what is knowledgeable, learned, and factual and erudite, the better society will be. Social media allows us to grow knowledge in ways that our, you know, our ancestors and generations before could not. Um, and it should be used for that. However, we spend so much time caught up on the negatives of it. And so I thought that program was a really good um, approach. Mind you, she could only do an hour of opening up that door to you and trying to get you to understand the benefits of it and how it should be used and how it gives exposure to people who otherwise, erstwhile, would never have had that exposure um, to grow business knowledge and even people's finances. Folks have whole um, businesses built off of social media, so it is an important part of our world. So uh, her show was good in showing that. The boys' show was just always crazy. Was a good show too. Uh, it went from A to Z, Z back to J, B to D. It was everywhere. But there were great points made and some of their discussions, which is always funny with them because I mean I think they get there however way they're going to get there. I mean, they talk about things from doppelgangers to the end of the world to what you eat. And I look, if you've never watched Erudition Generations, one of the things that you definitely will get from the boys, from my sons, is that they're going to give you a perspective that is definitely leveled by their age. I have adult sons. I have teenage sons and one who's going into his teenage years. So there is always different perspectives and thoughts and things that they talk about. So I I I I tell you that you'd have to watch it and see what you're getting from it, because they may talk about Minecraft, they may talk about the end of the world, they may talk about um, world building, comic books, what you could do for the summer, uh, all of that in one session, right? They're going to give you all of that, and I guarantee you, when you um, sit down and listen, or you even if you're listening to it as you're making your drive or whatever, you're going to get something from it, from our young people. So, and I encourage it because it definitely gives them allows them to put that perspective out here for a lot of people to grow in their own families and what they do. So great shows, great episodes, great sessions this week, um, as every week, to give you perspective, a different perspective. Um, and I ask you to share it, to grow it, because we definitely need it. Um, I will, I'm going to say, because I see there's one or two people in here. Um, I don't know if it's one of the people who asked us to do this session, and I do appreciate you all when you do send it. Please, 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 I want to say this again. I think I said it the last um, wrap up that we did. Send your correspondence, your thoughts to the Erudition Network. You can reach us on our um, webpage, which is at the Erudition Network .com, and then you can also send messages to us via our Facebook groups. We have a couple of them now. We have the Erudition Interactive Black History Network group, our group that's there. And then you have Adroit Living, which is one for folks who specifically want to talk to Tina on the side of psychology and Adroit Living. There's another group that's assigned to that too. Either one of those on Facebook, send your comments, your opinions, and ways to help us to better help you, and it will be greatly appreciated. We also do this particular program on Saturdays, and I try not to make this program long. So if I don't get any questions, comments, or whatever, I typically won't be on very long. But I open the floor to this because I do know people contact us and ask us questions or say, "Hey, are you going to be on Saturday?" or "Will you be there Saturday so we can have a discussion?" We're down for that. We're very open to that, and that's why I'm on here right now. But I know this last week I opened up a lot of different things for questions. I had a question. I'm trying to pull it up so I can do credit to what was asked. But I had a question the other day sent to me. Give me a moment here. Okay, I'm trying to pull this up. But anyway, basically, what the question was, right, was it had to do um, with Black people in politics, and it was a very good question. But believe it or not, this question. Oh, there it is. So somebody sent us a question saying, who was the first Black president, and saying that it was not Barack Obama. And I I took that question as to think that maybe uh, they were talking about North America or earlier times, and so I wanted to address that question. Um, there are several people out here in social media who will tell you that we've had many black presidents. They will tell you that Harding was black, and they will tell you that Lincoln may have had black in him. And listen, I don't have any historical evidence to support that is the case. What I will tell you is that Mexico, um, which had great coverage and swath over in North America, they in fact had presidents who were of African blood. Now, as far as America, we have to say Barack Obama because that is factually what it is. But we do know that people like Vicente Guerrero, who was the president of Mexico in 1829, he was a black of African descent and a black man. We know this because we know the history of it, and his importance and trying to keep Mexico Mexican. Now you say, well, why do we say that? Well, we have to understand that around those times, if you talk about 1820s, that we had a lot of Americans who were going over and doing things and trying to take over swaths of land from Mexico in order to prolong slavery. That's why we have such a big history of it in Texas. And as we come out of Juneteenth, we saw that there was a lot of talk about that. If you watched any of the older Juneteenth episodes that I did with Tina and Sean Anthony, I think with Teddy, which are still relevant, I challenge you to go on to YouTube, go to our page, or just go search Erudition Network on Juneteenth, and you will come across those episodes that will explain to you how Americans, slave owners, took their slaves south into Mexican territory and parts of Texas in order to protect slavery, and how a lot of the things that we have learned about the Alamo and the fight for liberty down there in Texas really stems from slavery and the desire to keep slaves in a state. Mexico had outlawed slavery, and so they told them to leave, and that was one of the issues, and they did not leave, and we came up with situations like the Alamo. But when we talk about black presidents, let's not conflate, right? And make up things that don't have a historical base. And let's understand that, yes, there were black leaders who were here in the Americas or close to the Americas, but they weren't necessarily Americans. So I thought that was a good question to answer. And I'd ask you to go back and go look up Vicente Guerrero and go look, find out who he is, right? And remember that he was president of Mexico almost half a century before Lincoln ever signed the Emancipation Proclamation. So it is something to go look at and to know that history. We did get another question, and I thought I would just answer it quickly, but we will go further in it on probably one of our sessions, because I think that, again, it's so important to answer these questions. This was a question about the Zulus. Now, I love African history. And one of the things that disgusts me is that a lot of times we don't discuss victories of Africans over, for the lack of a better word, but just to be historically factual, over colonizers. And there's a reason for that. We weren't taught this history in school because we were taught British history, and they say it's because America comes from British ancestors. It's beyond that. What it really comes down to, it's never been a really good idea for many educators to empower Black people to believe that they had any kind of significance either before 1619 or even after or around the Civil War. We are seen as, the thought of being chattel is really what is taught in history. But it is important um, to look at these things. In this particular question, uh, the Zulus have a huge history. But if I were to pick out a battle um, in South Africa, I would go again until around the 1820s, which is a huge part of our histories as Black people that we don't know, rather it be in South America, rather it be in Africa. We have to remember that the Zulus, right, had victory over British invaders. They beat the British. They scared the British. They did not have the weapons and things, but Joshua Kapanya, right, who was his uncle was Shaka Zulu. He presided over the Zulus, right, from about 1815, I believe, until probably 1828. And so he had a very good understanding of his surroundings, of his people. He was seen as a amazing leader. But the British, who had controlled Natal, right, they lied and they were stealing land, and they believed that they could usurp land by using political means on what they considered to be the savage. And so what wound up happening is that when Joshua went to war with them, the British did not see it as a threat, right? And there was a man named Bartle Frere, right, who thought that the British could civilize the Zulu. And so they went to war with them. And they lost. They lost considerably. And in December 1878, the British gave up, handed over their rights, paid an indemnity claim of 600 cattle. They disbanded their military, and they recognized, right, what the authority and the sovereignty. So we need to understand all of these things as we look at our history, right? We need to understand these things, because if we only look at British history and American history and never look at the significance of our African brothers and sisters and what they were able to do without as many weapons. And I'm going to go more into that subject because I thought it was a great question, but I just wanted to touch on it tonight because I just think that it's so important that we go over this history. But we're definitely going to hit that history and go deeper into African victories over opposing European forces in the time of colonization, in the time before and after the Civil War in America, and its significance on the world stage. We definitely are going to do that because I think we need to really, really embrace that history and kind of know who we are. All right. I don't see many of you on here tonight. And so if there is no question, you know how I do on these wrap-ups, been on just under 30 minutes right now. If there is no question, concern, comment, I'm going to get off of here and enjoy the rest of my Saturday evening. But I definitely got on to open the door for you all to ask any questions that while I'm on. But if you don't have anything, I'm going to get off here. I see we got a couple of people just joined, I think. So I'm going to leave that to you again. I'm going to ask you if you have anything for me, any questions, any comments, any opinions, any concerns, any things that's bothering you, concerning you about history, or maybe it's something that you'd like to talk about from one of the episodes that we've had on our programs this week. Please feel free within the next few moments to drop that so that we can answer it. But if not, I'm going to get off of here. Stop bothering y'all and let you enjoy your Saturday. I think I answered 2 of the questions that I got over the last couple of days. So if you're just joining us, go back and watch that. But if not, I'm out. All right. I guess there's nothing that anybody has. Okay. So, hey, join us again next week. Tatum will be on Monday for Detroit Living God Willing, and the boys will be on Wednesday, God willing, for their show. Again, please support these programs, share these programs, get folks to watch. Let's grow this network. And I will be back on next Thursday. We're going to go back into our episodes on the uneducables and further that knowledge and share that information on our education system. If you have a friend that is an educator, somebody in the system, school system, parent of a child who has been labeled as one of the uneducables, please feel free to join that program. Leave your thoughts, opinions, and even some history if you have with us as we go through that lesson. And I will gladly address anything that you present. All right. My son is in the background. I appreciate you, Teddy, for bearing with me for these last 20 something minutes. So I feel as if I'm rambling, but like I said, I always try to get on and give you all my time when I can, as it relates to history and Black history, knowledge and understanding. But I see we don't have anybody, so I'm going to get out of here. Join us next week, like I said, and you all have a really good and blessed rest of your weekend. I did not put a ticker on. I apologize. I tend to forget to do that. If you want to support the Erudition Network, you can do so through our Cash App at the Erudition Network on Cash App, and anything that you present for us goes to our equipment, goes to our costs, the things that we incur in order to present these programs for you. But I'm going to get out of here. I've said enough, done enough, and I want to get back to the weekend. So I will talk to you all next week. Have a blessed one, and I hope you and your family have a great Sunday and rest of the weekend. Thank you.